Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell Podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. Please be joined, as always, by Nathan Solomon from the Podium Finish, or the managing editor of the Podium Finish, I should say. How's it going, man?
Good, man. How are you?
Doing good. I know you got a lot going on with all the stuff that you're doing, so appreciate you coming on, taking some time to talk.
No problem.
So let's, of course, if you haven't heard, I kind of teased this yesterday during my interview with Taylor Kitchen, but this is the schedule show, kind of reviewing all the schedules that happened yesterday. Lots of changes throughout the Cup, Xfinity, and Truck schedule. We'll go through them all. Obviously, we're not going to go through all the nuances. Most everything kind of stayed the same. We'll start with the Cup schedule, the schedule that really didn't have a lot of changes, but we obviously knew about those changes before. Obviously, Chicago Street Course took over for Road America. North Wilkesboro is the all-star race. And I believe the Texas obviously goes down from 2 dates to 1. And also the Indy Road Course and Richmond flip-flop in the summer. So I think I got everything on there. Mostly everything else stayed the same.
Yeah, just a couple of things that got announced before, like you mentioned, like obviously the Clash is returning. That's number one. The Chicago Street Race a few months ago, that was obviously announced, and then last week the North Wilkesboro announcement. So that's 3 there. And like you mentioned, I think the other changes were 3 minor schedule flops, like Richmond and Bristol Dirt flip dates, Bristol Dirt and Martinsville flip dates because they were Easter Falls. Like you said, Indy Road Course and Richmond flip dates, and then Kansas and Darlington flip dates. So 2 of those 3 only flip dates by 1 week. The other flip dates by 2 weeks. So really, it's almost a carbon copy of last year, minus Chicago Street and North Wilkesboro. But kind of interesting. NASCAR always said for a couple of years, hey, 2023, that's when we're gonna have big schedule changes, and we had a couple. North Wilkesboro being back is huge. That wasn't even probably a thought until about 3 weeks ago. And then the Chicago Street Course, which I think had been in the works for a little while, but it'll certainly diversify the NASCAR schedule a lot more, and especially on the road course stuff. We're going to have all 6 road courses or whatever that the Cup Series goes to. They're all going to be completely different, so that should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, of course. Just to clarify, the Kansas and Darlington dates in May are the 2 that flip-flopped. So
yeah, sorry, that was not specific.
Okay. Yeah, just wanted to make sure of that because the Darlington and Kansas also go back to back in the fall as well. So yeah, mostly the Cup schedules pretty much outside of the changes you mentioned stay the same. The playoffs are obviously the same as well. So yeah, it's definitely going to be solid there. But overall, pretty good, solid schedule. Very, very diverse for its 75th anniversary season. So yeah. All right. Let's get to the Xfinity Series. There were some more changes over there regarding a lot of interesting things. There's some standalone races. Mostly a lot of the dates are the same, but obviously there are some more changes to that one. Portland is obviously back. They have a multi-year deal, but after Portland, for the first time ever, the Xfinity Series is going to Sonoma. Of course, the Truck Series went there last year. The Xfinity Series is going there this year for the very first time. That's definitely part of it on there, but it's also a part of 8 road courses. They'll be on there. Road America will also be part of that, and they will also be going to the Chicago Street Course with the Cup Series. Now, something that did get cleared up today. If you remember back when the Chicago Street Course was announced, that an IMSA series was supposed to be the second series, the support series with the Cup Series, but the Xfinity Series took that date. If you remember, it wasn't on there when IMSA released their schedules about a few months ago. But yeah, the Xfinity Series is on its way to Sonoma, a second West Coast swing, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah, it is kind of interesting because they're back-to-back races, right? Portland June 3rd, Sonoma June 10th. So obviously 2 road course races. Teams aren't not going to come back for that. I can almost guarantee you. So the trucks will stay out west. There'll be decent drive from Portland to Sonoma anyway. So yeah, they'll just go back and forth, probably bring 2 road course cars with them, and that'll probably save them some costs. Obviously, the big gripe about it going to Portland last year is it's just one event. Teams were not making a lot of money by it. I think the thought is now having back-to-back road course races on the same coast, teams can save a little bit of money, so it's not going to be as draining on them. And yeah, we'll have 2 different times over the summer for where the Xfinity Series races has 3 of 4 races that are road courses, if that makes sense. So like Portland June 10, or excuse me, Portland June 3rd, Sonoma June 10, Chicago July 1st. So that's 3 of 4 races there. And then later in the month, starting at Road America, which Cup Series announced they weren't going to go back. Xfinity is back, so that's the only series that's at Road America. July 29th, Indy Road Course, August 12th, and then of course Watkins Glen, August 19th. So certainly a lot of road course racing in the Xfinity Series. That obviously proves that to be a successful NASCAR driver now, you're going to need to be well versed anywhere, whether it's ovals, big ovals, super speedway, short tracks, and then of course road courses. Road course racing is such an emphasis in the sport now. So that'll certainly be fun to watch. But yeah, for the most part though, outside those couple of road course changes, same thing there. Basically, everything's the same. Code is back.
Roval.
You know, the only other change actually that we didn't touch on
Yeah.
is the Talladega out of the Xfinity Series playoffs.
Yep.
And their cutoff races, or their regular season finale is now going to be a week earlier at Kansas. So it'll be last weekend next year. And then this Xfinity race tomorrow, so the Bristol race, that'll be the first race of the playoffs. It'll be a week off in the playoffs with the Talladega week, which will just be Cup and trucks.
Yep. And so also, I'll get to so in the spring, so it'll be Cup, Xfinity, and ARCA will all be in the spring. So typically what we had basically in 2019 before the 2020 season. So kind of going back to that a little bit. Speaking of the truck series, that is where most of the changes have happened with the schedule. And I think a lot, and we of course had heard a lot of things, and obviously I heard a bunch of stuff when I was at Mid-Ohio, that the truck schedule would be a little bit different this year, and boy, it is. Obviously, a lot of the same events that are on the schedule this year are on there this year, but next year there's going to be some big ones. Probably the biggest one is at North Wilkesboro. Yes, that place. First points race hosted by one of NASCAR's top 3 touring series since 1996. So that will be on May 20th during the Charlotte. Geez, that's where the All-Star race was supposed to be. Was going to be actually at North Wilkesboro for the All-Star race. So they'll be there Saturday. Mid-Ohio is back. That's good. IRP is back. Milwaukee Mile is back for the first time since 2009. So they'll be going there with the ARCA Menard series on August 27th. Yeah, and also only one dirt race on the schedule as well with Bristol Dirt. Nathan, did I get everything?
Yeah, basically. I mean, I think the best way to summarize it is, well, obviously a bunch of dates are getting swapped around, so that's kind of doesn't really matter just because they have so many gaps in their schedule anyway. But I think the simplest way to put it is North Wilkesboro on, Milwaukee on, and Knoxville off.
Yeah, Knoxville is not back, so they'll have one dirt race. Of course, that will be at Bristol Dirt. So, yeah.
I'm trying to think, which is the other race to get knocked out, or did they add one this year?
Sonoma got knocked out.
Sonoma, that's right. So Sonoma and Knoxville off, Milwaukee and North Wilkesboro on. And I'm glad that those 2 are back on, because I think we kind of all wanted, we wanted the truck series to maybe visit a few more grassroots tracks. And I think those 2 tracks, Milwaukee, North Wilkesboro, are certainly that. So I think it'll help maybe spark and continue to grow some NASCAR markets in those 2 areas. Well, I mean, North Wilkesboro is obviously NASCAR country anyway, but it'll help, continue that racetrack revival and everything, and just make a great weekend out of it, because I think between having trucks in the Cup All-Star race there, it'll be a really fun weekend. It'll certainly be a lot of racing. I'd love for like a Cars Tour event to be there like Friday night or something. Just for it to be a completely full weekend, and I'd love to be there that weekend. But I I don't think that's going to happen, but I really do enjoy this schedule because you have, like I said, you have a little bit of everything. The Truck Series is probably the most diverse schedule of all three series. You have a couple super speedways, some intermediates, some road courses, a dirt race, some grassroots tracks, everything. So it should be a lot of fun to watch. I think that having this, diverse schedule is gonna definitely be better for that series. I think the interesting thing, the Milwaukee race too. I know I'm kind of jumping around a little bit, but the Milwaukee race is a Sunday race, so that'll be interesting. It'll be the Sunday after the Daytona regular season finale for Cup.
And I believe that would be a doubleheader because I also think that the Arca Menard series is also on that day. So definitely going to be very interesting for sure. Just referencing the schedule a little bit. Yep, and also, yeah, it's definitely a fun schedule for sure. Richmond will be the cutoff race for the playoffs. For there, as the playoffs will once again begin at IRP. Of course, the cutoff race this year was at Pocono. This coming year in 2023 will be at Richmond. So yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting season so far next year. Now, the one schedule that did not get released, well, kind of did. If you're wondering where the ARCA schedule is, for people that actually, yeah, but there's about 9 races that were confirmed with that schedule. A lot of the races will be with the Truck Series. There were some dates that didn't get confirmed, like Pocono and Mid Ohio and all those other runs. The ARCA schedule will be released some point later on in the earliest probably the day before the season finale at Toledo, and then the latest will probably be by, if it hasn't been released by December at the PRI show, that's the latest that will be released. So stay tuned on that. But overall, some pretty good schedules. But which one's your favorite?
Question. I think Truck Series because I love all three. Don't get me wrong, but I'm very happy and I'm very happy with all three schedules. But I think the Truck Series is my favorite just because what I said. It's the most diverse. You have intermediates, you have super speedways, you have a dirt race, you have short tracks, whether it's like the typical NASCAR tracks or the grassroots tracks. So there's everything. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun to watch.
It is. And also, one more thing. The Texas race is in the spring this year. They'll be with the IndyCar series. I forgot to mention that one. So 3 standalone dates for the Truck Series this year: Texas, Mid Ohio, and Milwaukee. Kind of with IRP, but yes, that's only 7 miles from the Indy road course. So, yeah, and also those gaps that we're seeing this year in the schedule, they kind of closed up with that. So maybe not as much of a gap. Also, that 8 race stretch in the summer has been cut down, maybe 2 5-week stretches, which is pretty much close to home. You got basically they're racing for mostly mid-March to probably mid-April, and then they go back and probably pick it right back up from May, really all the way till the first week of June. So not as much race. Obviously, racers like to race every week, but obviously for the teams, a lot. If you remember that 8 race stretch, a lot of it kind of pushed the teams. And they traveled all across the country, a couple of races in the Midwest, and of course one on the West Coast with Sonoma. So yeah, it should be interesting for sure. All right, well, that's going to do it for this schedule review. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks, Nathan.
Always.